Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TCTP, Two's Company, Three's a Podcast, also known as 2c3pod on Instagram and Twitter.
That's right, and we are available on PODBEAN, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and obviously YouTube.
Of course.
Big summer blowout.
We're Two's Company, Three's a Podcast. We're a podcast that produces podcasts twice a week.
Wednesdays and Friday.
Wednesdays and Fridays, we've got episodes every week where we're talking about the latest and greatest in the pop culture realm of movies and gaming.
And if you're joining us this evening, it's because it's a time for a YouTube special, a review of a certain film.
Yeah.
And are not available on the podcast services, so hey, thank you for tuning in.
Tuning in, yes. I don't like saying that we review movies because that's such a shitty thing, isn't it? Because we're not really like critics, we just discuss them.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I got my reviewing license from Oxford.
Oh my god,
Please,
Oxford.com.
Oxford, don't sue me. The Oxford Dictionary, I learned the word review.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's my credentials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today we're discussing a film which was released very recently. It's been around the world. It leaked a little while before its official release, but now it's out. It's spreading around the world via Blu-ray release and digital. It's called Doom Annihilation.
That's right, and and let's be honest, it was fighting from the bottom from the get-go of production.
That's
all
correct.
the way back from announcing the film to the leaking beforehand to the actual release. It's been fighting from the bottom.
That's correct. And now the film is finally released. You know, I think people have had a different reception to what they expected. Now, this film is obviously set at a low budget. A budget which hasn't been announced by the producers, which has been Universal 1440 or the director Tony Giglio. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, this film was announced a little while after the most recent Doom game in 2016.
Yes.
Obviously, off the back of the popularity of that game, which is a massive success and it's an amazing game. Everybody built their anticipation and expectations.
Of course. But again, like we said, fighting from the bottom, there's nothing against Universal 1440.
Yeah.
But when a project from the beginning is basically like, we don't believe in it, but here's something, just do what you can. Yeah. And it's going to go straight to Blu-ray digital, which now is very hard if you don't have a streaming service or something like that. Yeah. There's always going to be that perception, well, it's fucked from the start. Yeah. Well,
everybody, because there was a Doom movie that came out in 2005 starring The Rock and Carl Urban and Rosamund Pike, you know, which...
And a budget.
Yeah, and a Hollywood budget, essentially. Yeah. And that movie, you know, by all accounts, is a good film. It just didn't follow the Doom storyline. Like, it didn't involve demons from hell. They were altered humans who existed on Mars, and there was monsters. It didn't receive well commercially.
See, I didn't even think that was a good film, honestly.
Well, that's the thing. Like, most people don't.
Film, it's not really good. Yeah. I mean, and The Rock was still finding his setting, Dwayne Johnson now. Yeah. Like, and to me... For an outside, not avid Doom fan, not somebody who's played the game and that, I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It just didn't feel like it.
That's fair, and a lot of people didn't. Me personally, I enjoy it for what it is. It's not a perfect film, and it's very hard to find a perfect film, but I find enjoyment in it. And there was an amazing first-person sequence towards the end, which was absolute killer. When I saw this in the cinemas when I was 12, there was a standing ovation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I could go into like why this film was special for me personally, but I won't, because we're here to talk about the new Doom movie, Doom Annihilation. Now, released 1st of November?
October.
1st of October, sorry, because 1st of November was a few days ago.
Oh, that's
released 1st of October around the world. As we said, produced by Universal 1440, has an obviously low budget because from the director himself, he's announced in various interviews and... podcasts and things like that. I was about to say something else, but I couldn't remember. This film was hard to get off the ground because Universal didn't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're told from the beginning, no.
Yeah.
And then they finally give in and give you a little bit, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're still going to do it.
And
because he wrote and directed this. So this is his baby, basically.
Yeah, and as I said, there was an expectation of this movie from the get-go because of the popularity of the latest game. But... truth of the matter is, and the director, Tony, has announced this in these podcasts and interviews, is that they could only use film rights that Universal owned, which was from the first number of games. So not only are they creating a movie right after a new fantastic iteration of the video game, but they're also using properties which are technically old now.
No, that's right, exactly. So not only are you fighting production with budget, you're fighting this fan base that is rabid. You also are fighting limitations that you can't access things from Bethesda in software that would really fucking help. Like, that would really benefit, that, you know? Like, so, man, like, what this came out to be, it's bloody impressive what they were up against to get it there.
Absolutely.
And that's what I take away from this the most, you know?
Yeah, I have so much appreciation for this film existing and the fact that it got to release because of obviously the trials and tribulations that you just mentioned, that they were fighting an uphill battle against like a parade of thunderstorms pushing them to the bottom. So the fact that this movie was finished and released to begin with is amazing, and I give all credit to the director and the actors and everybody involved in this film.
Everybody who actually jumped on as a producer, everybody, they did what they could.
Absolutely.
And I've got no problems with that at all. But
absolutely.
It almost felt like there was two people who wanted this to succeed. Writer-director Tony Giglio and you.
And me. Yes, I was supportive of this fucking movie from day one.
But,
absolutely.
But hey, I just loved seeing your face when I surprised you with the Blu-ray when we got it early, you know? That was exciting.
But we finally watched it. Yes. Let's talk about the film. Now, this film, as we said, is obviously low budget because the set itself... The director Tony has come out to say that like the lighting and like the camera angles and the setting of this was like done all naturally. There was no artificial light. The light was built into the set, and that's how it was filmed. And me personally, I preferred a darker vibe. But
it felt grittier.
It felt grittier,
but not in a low budget. It felt like it felt real.
Yeah,
it felt better. You know.
Yeah. The actors. Let's discuss the actors first of all, because there are some standouts and others which I wasn't much of a fan of. And I think that's no fault of the directors. I think it's more of the capabilities.
When you get told this is your budget and you've got to spend that, you know.
Yeah.
You can't really go and grab the rock again. Just saying.
Yeah. So the lead actor Amy Manson essentially plays the lead character, and one of the reasons that the Doom community was up in arms about a female lead is because these days it's all about Doom Guy and that the main protagonist is a male.
Yeah.
But the idea from the original Doom games was that it was you, the player.
Yeah.
There was no identity. Fair enough, a little face was at the bottom of the screen, but the identity was that it was you. So there was no reason this couldn't be female, but because of today's day and age and PC culture gone fucking mad, the world exploded.
Yeah, but I don't understand that. Like, as in, how can they explode when, as in, half the problem is, things aren't fair. And then this happens and she gets given a lead.
Yeah.
Let her have the lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's 2019, bitches. Grow up.
Yeah. So overall, what are your thoughts as a non-Doom fan? Essentially, what was your thoughts on the film overall?
Okay, well, as a non-Doom fan, but also since having the capabilities of doing this podcast and learning the backstory and things like that, you can see its limitations. You can see where they did their best, but could have done better if they had more money, of course.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, overall, you mentioned this to me, the action, it's fantastic.
I think the action was really good.
The dialogue for me felt forced, but I'm not putting that down on the writer at all. I'm just saying I feel like it was limited. It was limited in what they could do, but the dialogue didn't feel natural to me.
I felt the same. I felt the dialogue was a bit lazy too.
Overall, though, if you just watch this as a film, it is trashy fun.
Absolutely.
Like, it is fun, man. Like, I had actually a really good time watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the action for what the budget, whoever, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They did bloody awesome. That looked legit, and there's some really, like, shocking violence in it as well, which, like, really got me into it, you know?
The first death, which is an actor named Archie Reese. I can't remember the character's name in the film, but he was one of the first to go. Spoiler alert. But he gets his throat ripped out by a zombie. And I was like, holy shit, this movie's setting up the agenda that this is going to be violent.
Yeah.
And it certainly is. Like, the zombies themselves, the way that they attack, they don't just fumble towards you like you would expect zombies to. They actually jump on you and stab you with their hands. And, the action, I felt that the weapons sounded and felt really punchy, and the zombies were kind of ferocious and smart in that sense, in the way that they killed. And then there was actual demons. There was monsters that threw fireballs.
Yeah, man.
And I remember seeing an interview with the director where he was saying they only had like 2 or 3 suits, so they couldn't go crazy. Really? Yeah, because if they tore one, that was it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So that's got to give you even more of an appreciation for what this has turned out to be.
Yeah.
You know, like, as in, it really did. It overwhelmed me. Yeah. Because we discussed on the podcast for weeks and weeks, available on PodBeAN, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Big Summer Blowout. We discussed for weeks and weeks the setbacks this was having. And how much crap everybody was copying that was involved with the movie. And then I watched it, and it's way better than I expected. Yeah. Not in a disrespectful way. It's just better than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the overall story as well, in terms of the movie, as we say, like in terms of the dialogue, I feel the dialogue was a bit lackluster in terms of just certain things that were said and the way that they were said. I felt like
I said, it just felt a bit unnatural.
Yeah, I felt like if there was a bit more time spent on the dialogue itself, it could have had a bigger impact. But also some of the actors and the way that they deliver the dialogue. There's 2 particular moments in this film where I kind of sat back and went, ugh. Only because I don't feel like the lines themselves were bad. I just feel that the way that they were delivered by the actors in those moments was like, oh shit. Like,
was Clayton Adams a culprit?
No, actually, Clayton Adams, like, he's the Australian actor in this film, and I know a lot of people are a bit turned off because his Australian accent in this is so bloody forced.
I feel like it was turn it up to 11, mate.
Yeah, he could have cranked that back a bit, but in the end, I enjoyed it for what it is because of how slapstick and silly it was.
He did deliver my favourite line in the whole movie.
Which was?
When one of the doctors or army people says, we think it's extraterrestrials, and he goes, I fucking knew it! Just out of nowhere, like, because he'd mentioned earlier that that's aliens. What he thought it was, and they're like, that's poppycock. Extraterrestrials, oh fuck! Oh man, I lost my shit.
And I'm actually happy. I'm happy that he was one of the longest standing characters.
Oh, maybe he's there until the end. We don't know. You'll just have to order yourself a copy.
Yeah. What was I going with that? So the action was really good, but the story essentially is that there's a group of Marines. They're sent to a moon base on Phobos, which there's teleportation experiments happening, which in essence, gates. They're opening gates to like from one place to another, which actually in between bypasses a hellish landscape, which in the games is interpreted as hell. You can interpret it however you want, but it's essentially it's another dimension. Heaven, whatever. Essentially, shit goes wrong, so it's up to the team of the military team essentially to deal with it, and everybody gets picked off as they go, and then there's down to last woman standing essentially, which is Amy Manson's character named Joan Dark. Now, this follows the original story of Doom very closely, and I'll explain why. Original story, which is literally written in the booklet of the original game, says, unnamed Marine disobeys a direct order, and in doing so is punished by being sent to Phobos as security detail, which this movie does. Then things go wrong, and then they start to realize, and then he's fighting for his life through this wave of demons that have overrun the facility.
Last man or woman standing.
That's this film. That's what happens. They tell as to why they got here because the leader of the group disobeys a direct order, and now they're here.
See, now I don't want to piss off an entire fan base, but I, as a Doom fan, I didn't know that's that story. Yeah. When you explained that to me off air and during the weeks on the podcast, why is everybody pissed off
at that?
That's literally the story of the original Doom game.
That's right.
And that's what this movie is.
Yeah.
I understand its limitations. We've discussed that already, but as a story,
it's as close as you're going to get.
I was going to say it's almost... it's more traditional than the first Doom movie.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like, it honestly sticks true to the game.
That's what this movie has going for it. And not only that, but I want to give a shout out to, I think it's Dominic Maffam or Maffam. I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who played Dr. Betruger.
Yeah, Dominic Maffam. Yep.
Dominic Maffam. That guy started chewing the scenery hard towards the end, where he walked through the gates himself and he comes back and he's trying to get the team to rally. And then, towards the end, he becomes the main antagonist, essentially. And I think that he's obviously a more seasoned actor.
He's been around the block.
Out of the crew that was cast in this film, and I think he did a really fantastic job towards the end in revealing as to why they're all there and explaining that story, essentially.
Yeah, I was going to say, from the beginning, there's always something a little bit off about him, like as in during the movie. There's just something off and that, but you just, okay, he's just that kind of guy, that kind of character and that. And then when things happen at the end, you're like, damn, you're a sneaky bastard.
Yeah, but he's named after the main antagonist from Doom 3, which is from 2004, Dr. Petruga, who's actually a bald scientist who's influenced by what hell can offer. And
Dr. Petruga?
Betruga.
Yep,
yeah, so obviously the characters look very different from their game counterparts, but that's essentially who he was playing. And the hell sequence at the very end, where it is completely CGI, where they introduced the imps and the final big baddie, he's that final baddie, that's not from the games. That's completely original. And I really liked that. Yeah. The flame monster. I thought that was really cool.
Well, again, not a Doom fan, but I didn't have a problem with the ending. The ending made sense.
Yeah.
The ending seemed to flow naturally to get to that point.
Yeah.
Again, as a non-Doom fan, this is just fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And as a Doom fan, there's enough Easter eggs woven into the story that can make any Doom fan go, huh, I know that. That's funny.
I was going to say, right before we started recording this, you just sat there and listed all of these like Easter eggs and that. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
You've got
dude.
I'm Too Young to Die, said by Clayton Adams' character. You've got Ultra Nightmare motherfuckers told by the big black guy, you know, and then you've got Daisy, who's like the computer AI, and then you've got like the BFG, the big fucking gun, all of these other things sprinkled all the way through it. It's even got its own Easter eggs where towards the end they say it's the annihilation of the human race. I was like, that's why it's called a Doom Annihilation.
Exactly.
But as we said, this film had major limitations. It was fighting an uphill battle from the 100%. Beginning, but I appreciate the fact that this movie exists.
Yes.
I feel that some cast members of like some characters should have lasted a bit longer. The captain in particular looks like Doom Guy, and he had a double barrel shotgun.
He really did. Yeah,
he was so good. I thought he was great. I wish he lasted a bit longer, but this is the movie that we got, and I greatly appreciate what came out of it. So
I was going to say, so as a Doom fan, are you satisfied with this?
I give this my approval.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, as a non-Doom fan, I had fun watching it. It is trashy. It's got its limitations, but I'll tell you what. If you're looking for a bit of a popcorn flick, just to sit back and relax and watch some action, this is the one. It's good fun, man. I loved it.
Yeah. And sequel bait towards the end, it leaves it
man, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't believe that. Yeah, when they did that, I was like, I know what you're doing. I like it.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
It.
So, if this movie is successful enough, you know, like as we said, it probably won't. If it does get a sequel, I'll be surprised.
Of course.
Simply because it's not a big budget Hollywood film.
No, but with how much it had to fight to get to where it got.
There was no expectation of this film to actually make any money, but I'm hoping that it does. And people, as I said at the beginning of this review, that now it's out and people are actually watching it, people are turning their opinions around going, well, this is the closest we'll probably ever get to a Doom movie.
Exactly, that's right. And if there's support behind it, you never know what can happen down the line. But for what we got, what you got as a Doom fan, what I got as a movie viewer,
I approve.
We got satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been our thoughts of Doom Annihilation. Leave your thoughts below. Listen, if you're going to say that this movie's crap, whatever. I don't care. Just leave your thoughts below, but show some love. I want to see the Doom supporters out there. I want to see the Doom Annihilation supporters.
Exactly.
You know, let's get this movie a sequel. I'm all for it. I'm down. I'm signed up.
You don't always have to be negative.
You don't always have to be negative. You can appreciate things as well.
Why don't you just say, I like the title? The title's nice, you know, something like that, okay? Just have a positive thought about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is Two's Company, Three's a Podcast. My name is Dylan, as always, along with my co-host,
Mitchell. And don't forget, we are Two's Company, and you are the podcast.